Property prices are falling. There's no doubt about it. Across Australia, prices are pulling back. The big questions you need to ask yourself is how much are prices going to pull back? And what can you do about it with your own circumstances? You can't control the Reserve Bank of Australia. You can't control the Australian government. We know that for sure. But we're going to take a look at price forecasts for the rest of 2026, 2027, and 2028 across every major capital city in this video. I'm going to talk you through what you can do in your own circumstances and how looking at your risk profile, looking at your borrowing capacity, and taking a mid to long-term perspective can really take the heat out of these price declines wherever you're looking to buy. Now, the first thing I want to do is pull apart some of the data. So let's bring up on screen here ANZ's recent housing price forecasts. So this graph here is from ANZ Research, and it shows house price forecasts from 2026 to 2028. And it shows actual price rises or declines across each calendar year between 2022 to 2025, and then forecasts based on some actuals and forecasts in 2026 to 2028. Before we look at the individual city data, let's take a look at Australia as a whole. You can see Australia pulled back 5% in 2022. It had 5 to 8% growth between 2023 to 2025. And now expected average pullback in prices across 2026 and 2027 sit around that 3 to 4% mark. With 2028, prices are then expected to climb. And we're going to get to why prices are expected to climb across every city in 2028. We can talk through that, which will actually be bringing them back to 2026 prices most likely, based on the data. So let's start with Sydney and Melbourne. So Sydney and Melbourne have been the poorest performing cities across growth the last 3 years. If we look at Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth, they've all been the front runners, with Perth far outperforming in 2024 and relatively similar growth across the other years to Adelaide and Brisbane. Brisbane very strong between 2023 and 2025. Adelaide strong 2022 to 2026 as well, 2026 as well. And Perth as well, very strong between 2022 and 2026. So if you bought in any of these secondary capital cities, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, obviously I'm a Brisbane guy. If you've watched my channel before, I've got a lot of investments myself in Southeast Queensland and have certainly backed the market. Now remember, these are averages. I know some of my properties have gone upwards of 17 to 20% in some years in Brisbane, but the data won't show that. These are the averages across the cities. And some people in Perth may have had 40% growth because there's going to be outliers on both sides of these average data sets. If you take a look at Hobart and Canberra, really poor performers relative to everything else. And Darwin is an outlier. If you look at Darwin from 2025 price growth, this is the buyer's agent boom in Darwin. This is the investor speculation. There's a reason I don't invest in Darwin myself, because I think the fundamentals, although there is a crunch on supply, I don't like the risk profile of Darwin over a 30-year data set. And I'm not a short-term speculator. I'm more of a mid-term property investor. You're going to get buyers agents out there that want that one blip of growth in 1 year. Whereas I would rather buy in a city that's got great fundamentals for long-term growth and manufacture value to insulate the risk profile. But some buyers agents want to speculate in Darwin and buy heavily there and try and get those 10 to 15% one-off years. But there's also risks, insurances, socioeconomic data that doesn't necessarily support the investing basis behind some of those options. Everyone's got, there's loads of different strategies in property. That's the beautiful thing about property investing. You don't have to be one type of buyer. You could be like myself, that's a mid to long-term trader that has short value add potential to get their upside. You might want to be a swing speculative trader that buys in Darwin and sells out 18 months later, and buys in Townsville and buys in Rockhampton and buys in northern New South Wales when the market's booming and chase those short-term wins. You might want to be an ultra long-term investor and buy large plots of land banking with really poor cash flow. You may want to chase small townhouses and units for yield and affordability. There are so many options when it comes to investing. I actually think it's funny when people argue about what's right or wrong, because it's about what's right for you based on your serviceability or your capacity, your financial capacity, and your risk profile. There's going to be a different investing philosophy that suits you. So I don't like to talk down on other buyers agents for buying in Darwin. I think that's totally fine. But for me and my money, I look at the 30-year data, I look at the 10-year data, I look at the 5-year data, and I want to make a 5 to 10-year investing decision myself. And I want to force value in the short term to insulate my risk and add granny flats for cash flow and strata or subdivision developments for growth, not yield. And then I want to buy commercial properties for yield. So that's my own philosophy. Everyone's got their own philosophy when it comes to investing. So let's jump back to this graph with ANZ research. So across Australia, you can see 2026 price forecasts are shocking. Sydney and Melbourne, 8 to 10% falls. No falls except for Canberra across the other cities. This is where it gets really interesting, and why I think you might want to watch this video is 2027. Prices pulling back across every single city. This is off the back of a slightly higher RBA rate or cash rate, sitting at 4.35% at the moment, meaning that the average mortgage is probably about 6.3 to 6.7%. We also have the Australian government making negative gearing, capital gains tax and trust changes. So lots of changes in the property space in the residential area. Commercial has been less affected. But this is housing price forecast. So this is residential property. Now, Brisbane and Victoria, where we're buying, you can see price pullbacks expected in Melbourne or Victoria around that 2% mark in 2027, but big pullbacks in 2026. The interesting thing here is where these price pullbacks are occurring. I know for a fact that the lowest quartile has been one of the best performers and actually continued to grow in Melbourne and Victoria, whereas the highest quartile has had the biggest percentage pullbacks. And that's quite similar in Brisbane. You see the price forecast in Brisbane at 4% growth this year. Well, some houses have pulled back $300,000 off their asking price, 1.6 to 1.3 million, whereas some houses in that 800K range have gone down 2%. They've gone down to 780, 750. It all depends on the supply and demand equation. Now, leading into 2027, why on earth would you buy a property if prices are going to pull back 4% in Brisbane and 8% or 7% in Adelaide and 3% to 4% in Perth? Darwin's pulling back 4%, Sydney 3%, Melbourne 2 to 3%, Australia-wide around a 3.5% pullback. So why on earth would you buy property right now? It's all about a window of buying. This means, it's the classic Charlie Munger quotes and Warren Buffett, where they talk about being greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. We want to buy when there's a market downturn. When there's a downturn, that means there's opportunity. I've seen some vendors knock 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 off their asking price in the last 3 months. There is blood in the water when it comes to property at the moment. And with the news and the media talking about ANZ price forecasts, Adelaide pulling back 7-8% next year, Brisbane could pull back 4%. People are going to be nervous, investors especially, with tax changes on the cards and happening. I say they're on the horizon because it's actually not really coming into effect till the 1st of July next year. Now, let's go back to the data for 2028. So if we look at 2028, you can see ANZ has prices up across Australia 4%. Sydney up close to 5%, Melbourne close to 5%, Brisbane 4%, 3%, Adelaide 2 to 3%, Perth 4%, Hobart, Canberra and Darwin 2 to 4%. So with an average of about 4 to 4.5% across Australia, with Melbourne being the front runner in terms of price forecasts in 2028. Now, I totally agree with this. I very much agree, and this is why we're buying heavily in Victoria. And I actually think you can get 5, 6, 7, 10% plus if you buy at the affordable end. So sub $900,000 is what I'm telling most of our clients to buy in that Melbourne or Victorian market. It doesn't mean there's not good deals in Brisbane. There's not even, there could be good deals in Adelaide with the biggest price pullbacks, or Perth. There could be good deals from an inherent value, but it also depends on your time horizon. That's why I don't invest in Darwin, or I don't actually like Canberra as a market either. That's where all the politicians are. But Hobart's an interesting one. The data hasn't looked very good at all the last 5, 6, and even forecast the next 2, 3 years. But you could still get a great deal in Tasmania if you buy the right opportunity. And so this is where the data can be, misconstrued. The data can't always tell you exactly what you need when it's at such a high level. You need to narrow in to Brisbane, narrow into Perth, narrow into Melbourne or Sydney, and you only buy one specific property in one specific council, in one specific suburb, on one specific street. And so with all of that factored in, this is why our buyers agency buys across Victoria and has been the last 18 months. It's about where we see the prices over the next 5 to 7 years. I'm not that 1 to 2 year trader. I'm not worried about Melbourne with an average pullback of 9% or 3% next year. I'm looking at a 5 to 7 year horizon and buying well in this buying opportunity. I want to make sure I purchase a property with upside potential. Given the tax changes, I want to be able to add a granny flat for certain. I want to be able to develop if I've got the risk profile and the money to do that. And I look at the growth in 2028. Now, this doesn't have growth for 2029 and 2030 and so forth, because it is a long way away. And it's very hard to predict prices that far out. It's even hard to predict 1 year away, let alone 3-4 years. But if you look at the macro cycles, if we look at the cycles of prices, that Melbourne has been compressed amongst all the other cities over the last 5 years. And it's a major city that has had great price growth over 30 years. It's got great infrastructure. It's got some limited supply, which is only where we buy as a buyer's agency. This is why I'm backing with my own money, and I bought most recently in Victoria. And we're helping a lot of clients buy in Melbourne and Brisbane still. Because we look at the 5-year horizon, Brisbane is a bit of a different story. It's had massive growth. Perth and Adelaide are the same, but Brisbane has that cherry on the cake with the 2032 Olympics and big infrastructure projects. They haven't even started building the stadium in Brisbane, and they're 20,000 jobs short in terms of trades. So there's a massive undersupply in the Brisbane market, and prices will continue to rise, in my opinion, between now and 2032. When to enter and when to exit is down to your own strategy. But if you take a look at this data with me, I think you'll see that yes, prices will pull back across every city between now and this time, ending next year in late 2027. But leading into 2028, we expect that recovery to begin and occur. Now, what this means is it's a window of opportunity. You don't want to be buying as prices start taking off again in Victoria or Brisbane or any of the other locations, depending on where you want to buy. You want to be buying when there's the right opportunity to secure a property that has the upside potential that you're looking for, that has a reasonable holding yield that you're looking for, because you can't continue growing a property portfolio now without the cash flow. And that's why I just completed a granny flat on the YouTube channel. I built it for $350,000, and I gave you a full tour of that property. And so this is my view on property prices over the next 1 to 3 years. And this is why I think projects and granny flats and adding value is a great way to insulate in the next 12 to 18 months, because projects take about 12 months to complete. They also mean that your cash flow is going to be there. So you're going to have neutral to positively gearing when you've got 2 incomes on one property. And it helps you ride and continue to grow a property portfolio. If you buy 3 negatively geared houses, you're going to be tapped out. They're going to take $10,000 to $20,000 out of your pocket every single year, and you won't be able to continue growing a property portfolio. Whereas if you buy a house and add a granny flat, and buy a house and do a strata title, and buy a house and do a granny flat, those sites are going to neutrally gear, which means that they pay for themselves. That allows you to go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. It allows you to keep growing the asset base. So that's why I think it's so important to mix deal flow or potential of upside with the right location. It's all well and good to buy in Victoria, to buy in Queensland and buy a good opportunity. But in my opinion, you want to buy opportunities that have the lever to have that upside or that cash flow potential, and balance that out as you grow. Maybe you buy a few sites and then you go back and add a granny flat. Or maybe if you're tapped out after deal 1, you go and get that construction loan immediately. This is why it needs to be tailored to your risk profile and your finances. It's customized to you and your circumstances. You can't control the Australian government. You can't control the RBA. You can't control the news cycle and what ANZ is predicting around property prices. You can only control your circumstances, your savings, and where you put your money moving forward to give yourself the best opportunity to create more choices and financial freedom. And I've been so blessed the last decade to have created those choices, to build a property portfolio to give me more time with my 2 beautiful sons, Asa and Eli. My boys are now 4 and 2, and I'm very much enjoying, being the dad. As many of you know, I am widowed, and so having the time and space to run this business at Purpose Property, to look after my sons and spend time with them is why I invest. It's not all about making more money. It's about creating more choices. So if you're interested in adding dwellings and developing and adding granny flats, there is a recent walkthrough video here, so give that a click. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think about price forecasts across every major capital city in Australia over the next 12 to 24 months? Let me know what you think prices are going to be.